So every CIO knows the traditional automation framework, right? You quantify the ROI, you prioritize the low-hanging fruit, and then you sequence the backlog based on business value and work through it systematically. But the reality of that model is brutal. Engineering capacity has always been scarce and expensive, and every single automation project, no matter how good it was, has to compete for the same queue, the same resources. So when something has to give, it's usually scope, fidelity, tailoring. You have to make compromises in the interest of speed. The result is that you end up automating the big things, the ones that have the clear ROI bar, but the 1,000 small frictions that make your people's work difficult every single day, those linger. They're never worth enough to make the list. And so the backlog never actually clears. And unfortunately, this has been the reality for as long as I can remember. And every automation decision has to live within this triangle of speed, cost, completeness. You can optimize any two of them, but the third would always suffer. If you want it fast and complete, it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you want it fast and cheap, you're going to make compromises on how well it actually fits your business processes. You want it cheap and complete, it's going to take a really long time. So the big things got automated, but those little friction points, those manual coordination steps, those things remained. They were never worth enough to clear the bar. But these advances in agentic engineering have now really changed that paradigm. This triangle no longer has to apply the same way it did before. Are you seeing that kind of thing, or are you seeing that, in your experience, Andrew? Is that ringing true and happening with your clients, your customers?
Yeah. There's no question about it. I think what we're seeing is not necessarily net new app development. I mean, clearly we use AI coding tools for our software platform, which is we've seen tremendous success with that. But what we're seeing is customers extend applications. So the people using enterprise systems are now more empowered to extend whatever the capabilities are, of those systems using a vibe coded app or building their own agents around it, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, agentic engineering has completely changed the equation. So, as we know, the old model is that business process owners have to describe the requirements. Those requirements travel to architects who interpret and validate them. Then the developers who interpret the developers have to interpret those architects' interpretations. Then it goes to QA for testing. These things take, so much time. And a big part of it is all of those handoffs and translating it to everyone along that chain. But agentic engineering is now enabling a new model where the business process owner, the person who actually knows the process, gets to participate directly in designing and building the solution. They can then have one technical partner who supports them, and that can be done in days instead of months, but giving that full fidelity because you don't have all of that translation change, all of that game of telephone all the way along the path. And what I've noticed is that has created 4 shifts in our approach. The first is that nearly everything can become low-hanging fruit. The economic case now exists for automating things that were never cost justified before. The ROI threshold that filtered out your best ideas is gone. The second is that solutions can now be tailored to your actual business processes instead of being forced into a generic template shaped by what's buildable within the budget. The solution can be designed to fit the process, not the other way around. And this is a profound change. It means that automation can actually work the way that our people work. I can remember so many times in the history of my career of telling people, no, we're going to change our process to fit the technology because, this is proven technology. This is how everyone does it. I can remember saying that, and I shudder to think that now. It really isn't the right way to do things. We need to be able to design those solutions to match our business processes, even if every little one is a unique, happy little snowflake. And then third, those solutions can now actually be genuinely human friendly. We can design automation around how people really operate, around their attention spans, their workflows, their habits. No more compromising. We can be picky. We can ask for things that we would have compromised on before. And then the fourth is that we can fail fast and embrace the temporary. So I think this is one of the most significant mindset shifts. Long-term ROI is not necessarily the requirement anymore. We can automate a process that only needs to exist for 6 weeks. We can try something out and see if it works. And if it doesn't, we can change it tomorrow. Automation can now match the pace and even the impermanence of organizational change. And that's just such an exciting shift.